Discover the Women in Tech Trailblazers podcast, hosted by Tiffany Benitez. Here, the complexities of being a woman in the tech industry are unraveled through discussions on key issues, personal growth, and how to succeed despite systematic challenges. It's a source of empowerment and inspiration for all women at all stages of their tech careers. Welcome to Women in Tech Trailblazers. I am so excited to be back with all of you. I'm Tiffany Benitez, the host here of Women in Tech Trailblazers, Authenticity Unleashed. And I am excited to be back with an incredible guest today. Before I introduce our guest, the topic I am loving, not that I don't love every topic that we go into, but this one, you guys really, by this point, if you've listened in for any amount of time, you know my heart. It's really about people. It's about finding your people. And today we're going to get real. We're going to have like a straight, authentic conversation. It's going to get raw and real. We're going to talk about life lessons and finding your people. I think there's a lot of things that we as women are navigating alone. And I think there's a better way to get through this. And so I have somebody here equally passionate about those thoughts and the mission behind all of this. And so without further ado, let me introduce her to you. Tiffany Vandemark is a speaker, author, coach, and brand strategist known for helping people navigate reinvention with confidence and purpose. Through her work, she empowers professionals, entrepreneurs, and women in transition to their own story, trust their voice, and build a personal brand rooted in what is real. Real, my love language. She's a former athlete with a competitive edge and a heart for helping others rise. She brings honesty, energy, and lived experience to conversations around resilience, identity, and authentic leadership. She is the author of Inside the Ring, and I have read the book. If you have not, run and get your copy. You can get it on Amazon, and I'm sure a multitude of other locations, and a sought-after voice on personal branding and reinvention. Tiffany, welcome to the show. I am so incredibly excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm excited to be here. We got the two Tiffany's together. I don't even know.
Anytime you get two Tiffany's together, you know you're in for a real treat. There's something different about Tiffany's. So I'll just say that. And before we even knew each other, it was really funny. We like met at a conference and it was like an instant spark of like, you are my people. That rarely happens, you know, like just because it's not that I don't love lots of people, but you know, that like spark of like, hey, I don't even know you, but I know we're going to like do great things together.
That's exactly the way it was, Tiff.
So you guys are in for the double duo Tiffany today, but I promise it will not disappoint. All right, Tiff. So, okay. You know, the whole thought, mission, heart behind this podcast is authenticity, right? And I know it was actually cool because I really didn't like comb through your bio before I did your introduction, but it even talked about authenticity in the bio. And I think it's important to know that like authenticity sometimes is a buzzword that a lot of people throw around. And I think it means something different to everyone, which is totally okay. So we always start out with the question, and I'm going to ask you, what does authenticity mean to you?
I love this question. And I think, and I don't know about any of the listeners out there, but authenticity to me, it's taken time to figure that out. You know, I'm in my 50s now, and I feel like I've always been authentic. And I believe I have. My mom said I was born with a smile on my face. And I feel like God's blessed me with this energy and light that is always going to be authentic, no matter what life challenges have given me. But to me, at this point, authenticity is just being me and figuring out what that looks like and showing up as that, whether I'm in person, I'm on the phone with you, it's social media, whatever it is, just being you. And being me is I really want to be a light. I want to help people really shine and bring out that energy that they have. And I think And I'm not always butterflies and sunshine. There's times where I'm on the couch in the fetal position with my dog named Sunshine. But then I figure out how to step out of that. And I think that is something that we can share with other women on. Sometimes being real is the fetal position on my couch. And then the other times you're like, I'm happy all the time. I am. 90% of the time, this is me. And then there's going to be that 10%. I mean, authenticity is this morning. After taking my Adderall, much needed Adderall, then I had a handful of trail mix, my tangerine, and I've got this mug, you know? It's how we show up, and excited to be here today.
Your energy is contagious. And I'm not saying that because we're on a podcast. I'm saying it because it's true. Anybody that enters the room, you just kind of light that up. And it's again, it's contagious. And I think that the more that we talk about exactly the things that you just said, I think obviously one of the things that really rang true to me, and I was just sitting there smiling through, is that it is okay to, number one, not have it together all the time. Okay. So I'm not sure whoever fed us the lie of like everything has to be perfect. You have to have like everything, you have to be on cue. You have to like every moment is a highlight reel. Like, number one, that's not real. So it's not being authentic to yourself.
No, not at all.
Number two, you also said deal with it, but don't dwell. And that's like one of the big things. It's like, deal with your feelings, like have your moment, just don't stay there, right? I think staying there is like the part that gets us sometimes. And I think that it's truly important to understand that you can be wildly successful and not have your shit together all the time, and to expect that you're going to have it together all the time is just setting yourself up, right, for failure in the aspect of meeting your own expectations. It's not reality, and I don't think anyone else expects that from you either.
And I love that, Tiffany, because it's funny. People are like, I work remote, but I'm out a lot. I'm in business development, I'm in marketing, I'm a public speaker, so I do a lot of events. But when I'm at my desk, in between walking my dog, coming back in, I got earrings and lip gloss at my desk. So no matter what, I look like I have myself together. Whether I really don't, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm ready. And I think my mama always taught me, fake it till you make it. And I believe it, fake it till you become it. Because I think that, I don't have my shit together a lot, but I literally ground myself and I'm like, okay, Tiff, you got this. And here's what we're doing now. And I think the conversations I have with all my people in my head, I quiet the ones down that do not serve me. And then I let the other ones speak a little bit louder. But it's okay to not be okay. And I think we don't, like, even if someone looks at my social media or whatever, they're like, you're always happy. I am. What you see is truly me. And anybody that comes in contact with me will say that. But it's also, I've been through a lot of crap and I have to self-talk daily. Like, I write down, if I'm not in a good headspace, I write down all the things I'm grateful for. And every morning, 3 things I'm grateful for. And it changes the way I think for the day.
I mean, your mindset's everything, right? So whether you believe you can or you believe you can't is what will happen. And so I think taking control of our mindset is essential. I think grounding ourselves in reality, shushing the voices, like you said, the ones that aren't serving you. And sometimes the voice that's not serving you, the loudest voice is your own critic, your inner critic, right?
Amen. Amen.
Like, I think for me, like I can shush, like I don't even care. Like think and say whatever you want about me. I do not care. Literally, I do not care. But that inner voice is one that's harder to kind of quiet. And it's also the one that's kind of constantly at you. And I think there are moments that it's slightly helpful of like holding you accountable and making sure you're driving to whatever you're driving to. But there are boundaries of like, when do I need to stop listening to that voice or the other voices externally that are truly not serving me? And I think you bring up a really good point there. It's like, sometimes it's really hard to do that for yourself. And I think that's where community also comes in, of like, who are you surrounding yourself with, right? Like, is it the person that you're going to call and they're going to be that another voice that's just like, of like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Or are you going to like surround yourself with people that, yes, hold you accountable, but also like are reminding you, okay, this is something you're going through. It's not the end. It's temporary. Like, get up, let's go get food or whatever. But talk to me a little bit about like the power of community, especially for us as women, as we continue navigating through, let's just be real, survival mode and trying to make it in this life.
I love this question. And I think I spend a lot of time thinking about this because if I hear the word women empowerment one more time, I may hurt somebody, because that's not a feeling, it's a doing. It's not something you say you're going to do. It's something that you show up and do. And I know I do that. I'm very intentional about that. But empowering each other, is our responsibility. I look at it as, how can I help my younger self? And how can I help the women younger? I love being my age. I mean, I'm owning being in my 50s. Some things are a little troublesome, but it's part of aging. It's not for sissies. But if I can teach a younger woman some of the things and the mistakes that I made, with no judgment, girl, because all the things I said I wasn't going to do, I've done a couple of times sometimes. And I have a younger friend that I just was with last night, 27-year-old Isabel, and she's an amazing, beautiful inside and out. And she's like, Tiffany, I kind of want to grow up and be like you. And I'm like, girl, I'm sharing things with you now because it took me so long to get here. And she's such this positive light. And Tiffany, same with you. We go to lunch in this spot, and because I had asked my AI chat, my chat is Tyrone, and I'm like, Tyrone, I need you to give me a spot, because I had no idea where she goes. I said, I wanted to make it convenient for you. And so I'm like, Tyrone, give me 3 good lunch spots on whatever road. And I sent her the 3. And she goes, oh, this one. We show up, guys. It's in a gas station. There's this Mexican restaurant in a gas station. And we look at each other and we're like, 2 people don't belong here. We were both like, let's do this. And the food was amazing. And it has 5 stars, but I probably won't go back. But Tiffany and I just looked at each other and we're like, yeah, let's do this. So we had a little brown bag and sat in the corner with all the people in there and had a great time. And you and I shared frustrations that we were dealing with at the time. And then we talked about positive things. And we both left feeling so much better than when we came. That's building a tribe. I'm really careful I'm my own best friend. I am my own coach, my own therapist, my own sex therapist, my own personal trainer, my own everything. And so if I'm around people that are kind of negative and bring me down, I have to stop that. And I literally put on my Wonder Woman shield, and I have to retreat and make sure that my energy is up and positive. And I tell women this all the time. Think about how the tribe you're with, the network you're in, are you bringing value, and are they bringing value to you? And at this point, all my whole life, I just want to be elevated. I want to learn, and I want to be around people that are going to teach me to do that. And I encourage every woman to do that. And if you're not, look around, and am I bringing value? Am I getting value? Am I being elevated? And those are the people I have surrounded myself with.
I think it's okay to walk away if not, right? I think we
Yes.
have a really hard time of like, I don't know, you can label it loyalty, you can do whatever, which I'm not saying there's not value in, but sometimes things change, right? Like not every person was meant to be an entire like lifetime person. Sometimes it's seasons, right? So I do think it's really important to evaluate, if you're starting to feel lack of peace, if you're starting to feel like super stressed or drained when you leave somebody's presence, it's kind of an indicator. And it's not a like, oh my gosh, like a negative thing and like I'm cutting you off. It's not about that. I think it's about boundaries. Like what level of access, like not everybody gets the same level of access to you.
I
And
love
while
that.
I remember
Yes.
I remember hearing that, and the first time I was like, oh, like access, like, oh my gosh, like you're too good. No, that's not what it's about. It's about you reserving what little bit of energy and time you have to be able to pour back in, also to people that are filling up your cup too. And so I think it's really, really important to know that it's okay to walk away. People are allowed
I
to think
love
whatever they
that,
want.
Tiffany, level of access. That's really safe. And I think that's another thing as women. Where do I feel safe? And I go back to my little 27-year-old friend, and she said, you just come across as so, I don't know, you just have it together. And every conversation, and I'm like, girl, it took me a long time to figure out who I was. So when you
Yeah.
say what's authenticity to me, it is kind of grown and evolved. And I want women to know at every age, you're all right. You're just where you need to be. You're exactly where you need to be. I'm here and you're looking at me like I've got my shit together. Holy hell. It took me so long to get all of that together that's what you're seeing now. And I love that. Protecting ourselves. You want to protect yourself in every situation. we're learning to do that. And there's ways to do it that are graceful. I pray for grace on a regular basis. I'm like, okay, God, how can I be gracefully exit this situation, or let this group know that, I'm no longer going to be a part of it, and how to help me determine what those areas and places I need to be.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, let's just be real, just because again, that's how we went into this conversation and where I'd like to keep it. But I think as women, in trying to navigate some of this, we end up with a lot of different masks, right? It's like, okay, I'm showing up to this thing. Let me put this on. I'm showing up to this thing. And it's not coming from like a malintent of like someone's attempting to be fake. It's just like we're putting on all these like, call them hats, call them masks, whatever, but you kind of need to transform for each of the different things that you're in. And I know that we talked about in your bio, but a lot of your career and passion is really around like branding and personal branding. And I think sometimes we confuse, like, as we're attempting to build this brand, we confuse it with different masks we need to put on. So talk to me, how do we really like build this brand, but from an authentic place versus all of the masks that we continue to try to put on because we're trying to please other people, really is essentially what it boils down to. Before we jump back in, a quick thank you to Women in Technology of Northwest Arkansas for being part of this journey. We cannot thank them enough. They continue to create space for women to grow, connect, and lead in tech. Let's get back to the conversation.
I love this question. And I always start with all of my personal brand coaching and speaking. It all starts with your mission. I work with everyone to figure out and determine what their mission is. Because when you're grounded in your mission and what that is, Tiffany, everything else falls into place. Like I literally go, is that event on brand? Is that event go with my mission? Do this group go with my mission? And my personal brand shows up no matter what I'm doing, but it's grounded in my mission. And my mission is to really empower people that our voices are changing the world and that our story is our superpower. And everything I do comes back to that mission. So when you really know what that is, you show up as that personal brand everywhere you go. And I think that is the most important thing. Whether I love the hats. So I worked for a Tony Robbins company, and he always taught us that right before you go on stage, you click your fingers 3 times and it puts you in state, right? And so I was explaining to people that I'm the life of the party till I'm not. Like if I'm a networking queen, it's one of my superpowers is connecting. I'll walk into a room. I'm intentional. Intentional is one of my favorite words. I walk in and I'm like, here's my goal. And I'm going to meet these people. It's for business. And I am like on fire. I'm asking questions, talking to people, getting names, LinkedIn in them. And then I'm like, okay, I'm done. I literally know myself now. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. And I'm like, I peace out. I ghost and I'm cool with it. And then I want to go hang out with people and just be Tiffany. But I'm still Tiffany in that networking moment, right? But my level up, I'm at a level 10. And then I'm like, okay, that's all the energy I have for that. And now I'm going to go be with my friends or myself. And I'm going to bring myself back to a level 5 so that I can continue to raise that energy level. And those are the hats. And then when I'm at work, it depends on what client. I'm refreshing my own brand. And I've hired, even though I've been doing this, I've hired an agency to help me refresh my brand because it was time. And it's given me an opportunity to be like, I looked at my old website and I'm like, that's still my mission. That's still my focus. I've just evolved into this now and the updated version of that. And I've cut some things out. And I think that's the fun of life.
I love it. And I think you talked about, like, I love how you talked about the evolution of like getting to where you are now. Like, I feel like it's a forever journey on this side of things, you know? And so it is an evolution. Think of a butterfly. Like, they don't start as a butterfly, right? It's a caterpillar. So like the evolution, but it does take an intentional investment in yourself. So you don't get to where your mission is or what your purpose is or knowing how to even navigate that if you don't take time to invest and pour into yourself. And look, I love massages. I love all those things. Do those things. Those, yes, are self-care. But there's a different type of investment that it takes to truly like get to know and love you. And don't miss that. I mean, we serve everyone, right? We're mothers, wives, like whatever, fill in the blank with whatever your hats or your titles are, right? But the reality is like, who are you when there is nothing, right? Where does your cup get full? Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. You guys know the airplane, right? You like put your mask on first, but like, we don't do that. We say all these like cliche sayings, but we don't do that. And I think it's really important for women to know that you have to make that investment. If you're going to continue the journey, because it's a long one, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, then you've got to make sure that you're truly investing in figuring out, who am I? What is my mission? What do I care about? People talk about, like, people ask me all the time about personal branding because it's something else that I'm passionate about. I can't tell you what your brand is. What do you want your brand to be for people? What do you want people to know you as, you know? And if you don't know who you are, then you're just creating another mask. You're creating something you have to fake to your, what did you say? Fake it till you make it, right? You're creating something else. That takes way too much energy. When you create a brand that's authentically who you are, it's not effort to show up like that because it's just who you are.
I love this because this transitions to right into my passion, which is I speak and coach on reinvention is your secret weapon, and your story is your superpower. And this goes right into what you said, Tiffany, and I love it because our stories, we don't realize it sometimes. That's what makes us unique. Like, I could be with 10 people doing the same thing that I do, but no one has my story. Tiffany, no one has your story. No one has your background. And the reinvention piece, whether you're a man or a woman, but especially women, they come up to me afterwards and go, I've been told that I need to stay in my lane, that this is what I've been doing. And you just said you reinvented yourself every decade. And I'm like, heck yeah, because that's what life is about. I look at an adventure, it just comes up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it. And I'm literally a polished Swiss Army knife. That's right. I have all these amazing tools from this, from that, from this. Who told you to stay in your lane, right? Sometimes it's usually men. I'm not man shaming right now, but sometimes pay attention to who's telling you that and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that are like, heck yeah, let's do that. Have faith in yourself. And that reinvention, you're just adding one more tool into your toolbox. And that's what life's about. I've got women that are like, from young women, I don't know, I thought I wanted to go on this path and now I want to go on this path. And this is what I love about technology. I loved speaking with you at that Flurex event because the women in technology, that group, are so brilliant. And I learned, and now I'm like, I didn't realize that less than 25% of women are actually using AI. I talk about it and I blow it up. I pay attention to what you all are saying and doing because that's not our future, it's our present. And how are we utilizing that? And how are we empowering each other to do that at whatever age? But even young women are like, I don't know if I want to stay in this path. I want to go in that path. And I'm like, now's the time to do it. Don't wait till you're 50. Do it right now. And really help empower each other to do that. What are you passionate about? Life is way too short to do something that you're not super into. Look, all of our jobs, there's nothing that's perfect, right? I don't care if you own your own business. I've owned my own business, worked for someone, owned my own business. Nothing's perfect. But if you're doing something that you love and you're passionate about, you find. And if you're not in a role, find something outside of that that fills your cup, lights you up.
It's so good and it's so true. And I think you talked about who told you that. And I think that in order to truly embrace what we're talking about here and what the, you know, the pieces and nuggets of wisdom that you're sharing from like the incredible work that you do is that we have to unlearn some things to relearn some things. And we're going to have to unlearn taking whatever's been served to us. You own your career, you own your brand, you own what's next, you own your reinvention. And so in order to truly own something, it means you have to just accepting it, like to stop accepting what's been served to you. You get to decide if somebody brings you a plate of food. I'm speaking metaphorically here, okay? If somebody brings you a plate of food, you get to decide if you want to eat the food or not. You get to decide which pieces of the food you want to eat. And the reason I'm saying that is because what we typically do as women is we want to be polite and kind. And someone said I should eat this, so I'm going to eat on my plate. I mean, we're taught from the time we're little, like happy plate club, whatever, clean plate club. No, like stop taking every single thing that someone told you you have to do. And this is especially for us as women, because I remember all the things I was told as I was like groomed in corporate, like don't, as a woman, don't do this, don't wear that, don't say this, don't. And it's exhausting. And I got to a place right after I hit 40 and I was like, this is really all a crock. It's too much to try to fit in every single box and please every single person. So I'm just going to stop. What do I want? What am I after? And I'm just going to wholly be that. And you have to be okay with, you know what? I'm not everybody's cup of tea and I don't give a shit. Like
Tiffany, what happened? What happened when you decided that? What happened when you
changed? Like I was able to go from like caterpillar to butterfly, because when you're trying to take what people serve you and do what it is they're telling you you should do, you can't ever learn who you really are. You can't ever embrace, like, what is my mission? What is my purpose? What do I care about? Because we all only have a certain amount of energy and time. And if all your time is trying to fit into those boxes and do whatever you think everyone wants you to do, then how do you reinvent yourself? How do you invest in yourself? You don't. Right? But you get to choose. Ultimately, like we're here talking about some like super life-changing things, but ultimately you get to choose. If it's comfortable for you to do what everyone tells you to do, then you can just continue to be stuck, right? But I think there's another way. The point here and what we're sharing is like, there's another way. You just have to choose that that's what you want. And then the first step is literally, who are you? What do you want? And stop listening to what everyone else is telling you. Like,
and even the people in your head. I kid people all the time, but it's real. Like I have all kinds of people and they are always talking. And I'm like, okay, I got to get grounded and these people need to stop. And these people, and you said it before, that loudest one, that's my biggest critic. And I have to go, how do I protect my little girl? How do I protect who Tiffany is? And it's every day. And this is what I want to make sure these women know. Every day I have these conversations with myself and I look in the mirror and I'm like, you got this. I love you. You got this, Tiff. And I think that for people to think that we have it all together all the time, I'm glad I appear that way, but I do. I mean, I literally go, I do have it together. I am very blessed. I've got, all these things, but it's still something I work at every single day. The other thing I wanted to go back to, and you talk about personal branding and who you are, and you're not sure who that is. I just want to share these things, and it's my favorite thing to do, and it's part of when I ask them what their mission is. I say, look, I want you to take 3 people, and Tiff, I want you to do this too. Take 3 people, and I want you to text them and say, hey, my personal brand coach told me to do this. What is the first thing you think about when you think about me? Real quick. And the second question is what's one thing I'm really great at? And the third question I want you to ask yourself, what lights you up? What is like this thing? It may not be the career you're doing right now. That's fine. What lights me up and makes me go, yeah, I'm going to do that? Every time you think about it, you smile. Those 3 questions are powerful. And when you send those questions to friends, they will get back to you just like this. When you get those answers back, that is the foundation of your mission. You look at those and go, yeah, that is who I am. It's almost like getting a warm hug. But that's when you go, what is my mission? If you don't have it, you don't know what that is, you've got to get grounded in that. That's your foundation.
Well, I think people have gotten, I know I even have, right, several nuggets and like places to start and next things to do, or maybe some things to stop doing today. But the conversation is incredible. We're coming up on my least favorite time of every episode, which is close to the end. But we always leave our guests with we have our guests do one final question, and it's always the same, and it's on purpose. Number 1, it's kind of a 2-part question. Number 1 is, what legacy do you hope to leave? You're an incredible woman. You're an incredible leader. What legacy do you hope to leave? And then if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would that be?
My legacy is, I would love for, and I think about my family, my sisters, my friends that I've surrounded with, I would want to be remembered as a light. I would want to be remembered as I go back to reinvention, but it's really owning your story, owning your life, and it's yours. You write that book. You can, and I've made some mistakes and learned from them. There is an amazing life on the other side of any story. And what I love to leave you with is our voices are changing the world. Our stories are changing the world. The things we've learned, I don't care how old you are, you're learning, you've learned every single day. Share those stories because that is what's changing the world. And the world needs us.
I love it. Yeah, like we have so much power in our voices that I just don't think we fully understand it. I think it's an evolution. You've talked about that a few times today of like getting there, but it's so incredibly powerful. Tiff, I know your schedule is incredibly busy, so I am so grateful that we were able to get you here today. I'm excited to actually go back and re-listen to, first of all, I'm going to do the 3 questions.
Great.
I'll be sending those out to friends today. So if you're one of my friends, just be prepared. You may get the question today. But again, incredibly grateful for your time. Thank you so much for being on with us.
Tiffany, thank you. You make my world better.
To our listeners, thank you so much for listening in, tuning in. Continue to like, subscribe, and we will be back with some more incredible content and guests along the way. Till next time. You've been listening to the Women in Tech Trailblazers podcast. Thanks for being here. If something resonated with you, please share this episode with your friends, your colleagues, or anyone you know that needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to catch what's next. We'll be back soon with more real stories and honest conversations. Until then, keep showing up and let's keep making space at the table.